Let's get started. I'll hold my question since I can kind of just ask you things whenever, and a lot of these people this is like their only opportunity. I'm just gonna let the public get these questions in. But first we have some general questions. They're questions Ferris categorized as general, so a bunch of people were asking them. So the first question is, why did you choose the sheep/lamb persona on your album and social media? If you're comfortable answering that.
Honestly, the sheep thing comes from some years ago. Actually, it was way before I started making Only Sinner. It came from a conversation that I had with a friend that was basically like, hey, what if you made a persona of yourself? And they suggested me to pick an animal that I related the most.
So like from that point on, you decided to like build it into like your album a little bit, because it's kind of worked into the whole like themes of it and it all, and it comes together pretty beautifully.
Yeah, I didn't even take it seriously at first. I just picked an animal that I had the personality that I related the most. I was between a deer or a rabbit, but I think a sheep would fit well. And this person actually was the one that made the first design of the sheep. I should show you right now, but I don't have the drawing anymore.
You could send it over anytime if you ever are able to get it. That'd be really cool to see.
I have it actually. Hold on.
Oh,
you have it?
Hold on.
Oh my gosh.
It's in the zine that I made. Let's just real quick. It's this one right here. Hopefully it's less blurry. Yeah, it was a sheep boy at first, and then it transitioned along with.
It was before it transitioned.
Hell yeah.
It was very
That's
old.
actually really sick. And also like an adorable illustration.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell one more thing. The shape doesn't come just from the personality. It just comes from experiences that I had when I was a teenager, like 14 years old. Like experiences with being very attached to people emotionally, and that's where the lead concept comes from the album, like wanting to follow someone to guide me, you know. I always have struggles with that. Yeah.
Thank you for explaining. That was one that a lot of people had been asking about, and it's just really interesting to hear. And you mentioned, I'm sure a lot of people know this, but you did like your own art for your album and all that stuff, and it's very cool.
Yeah. I mean, not just me. That I had a little help of a cyber in this ring as well, that I call Round Kitty. She helped me with the overall pose of the sheep, like position and expression, and then I drew it on a paper and made a paper collage of sticky notes disjoints.
The whole visual aesthetic of the album is really, like, special, I think. Or I don't see it. I've never really had an album with such a distinctive, like, visual element to it as well. I think it's just really cool. It's really cool. And all the poems and stuff. And, like, little texts and all of it is super cool.
Yeah. I tried to make like a transition to my previous album, like going from this digital world from a more natural and real world.
Yeah.
That's the purpose of the papers, the overall real nature of it.
Oh, that's very sick. This next one that has been asked by a bunch of people was, how do you choose your samples?
It's difficult to answer that because most of my samples comes from what I'm listening casually, especially Bjork. I think it's every project that I want to make have a Bjork sample in it. So I always listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to like, when I listen to the songs casually, I often think of ideas to complement these sections that the song have.
Mm-hmm.
And try to, or even making a new section of all my songs as well, like what I did Isithnica.
Okay. The next question, if you're ready for the next question, let me know if I ever cut you off. This is the big one from this community, is asking if you fuck with mommycore. This goes back a bit. So I'll just let you approach that question before saying anything.
I wanna know what's mommycore first. I don't know what that is.
Yes. Mommycore is a genre of music created by people in this server, in this community. Notably Aubrey or Passivity, which is just any genre of music that uses mommy ASMR samples. Usually it's breakcore. Like, most of the tracks I've heard are breakcore, but there's been like harsh noise mommycore tracks. It's been like this whole thing.
I mean, I fuck with the Star Moon track that she made with Wispy, but I didn't know it was a entire genre. That's crazy.
Yeah. That is some, like, that's probably my favorite mommycore track. Is this mean that you fuck with mommycore? Is this a yes?
I think so.
Okay, she thinks so. That, you guys can take that however you want. Okay.
I mean, that's kind of crazy having harsh noise in mommycore. When I think of mommycore, I think like I think of comfort and love, but with harsh noise. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's. I think a lot of the mommycore tracks that I have heard from the community are kind of like Star Moon and Blushy's tracks that are mommycore are like actually kind of beautiful and heartfelt, but most mommycore is kind of just silly, and people like to have these like harsh contrasts between like what you're hearing and like the terrifying sounds that are going on.
Yeah. I mean, relatable.
Yeah. Yeah. So, are we good. Going on to another question.
Okay.
This is from Moth. Moth famously has your album art as their profile picture. And Moth wanted to know. Yeah, I think he sent that. Moth wanted to know. Do you read poetry or other literary works? And if so, what kind do you enjoy reading?
I hate to say it, but I don't. I usually like one of the books that I've read recently is more about helping with mental struggles and try to be stable with yourself. More of the books that I read is like trying to help myself and not for inspiration. Much of my inspiration with lyrics and poetry comes from what I listen already, like trying to be inspired with lyrics that I really like the flower in nature stuff that I got inspired by was by Wyatt's Blood and Bjork last album. She got that emotional stuff that I found very crazy. I like that.
On Fossora, which is a great album.
An underrated album, honestly.
It is an underrated album. I've talked about this a lot with people. I'm very happy to hear you say that.
Yeah. I think some of the Microphone's lyrics also inspire me a lot. And I try to be like making those metaphoric scenarios, trying to tie together to what I go through daily, because I feel like I don't, because I feel like I need too corny to write those lyrics, raw scenarios, like just telling how I feel and not metaphorically. I feel like I'm being corny or just edgy.
I think in that record, at least in my opinion, it, like, the way that you, like, I can see a lot of stuff similar to what you were saying, like Bjork and the microphones and like these uses of metaphors and like nature. And I think it makes the record feel very, like, it matches the sound really well in a way that, like, it, I guess you mentioned before your transition from the last record to this record and how you had like all this physical paper stuff for it, kind of transitioning from like this digital world to grounded in reality. And I feel like along with that, having like these metaphors that feel very grounded in like the real universe makes it feel very grand and real and beautiful. So that's just, I don't know, I'm kind of going on some tangent, but
transition.
Woo!
That's really good. That's really good to hear.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Forgot to mention something. I don't see much people mentioning that a lot, but the main inspiration of the lyrics of the album comes from Greek philosophy, especially Greek love. Like Philadelphia, Philadelphia is basically self-love. And I try to portray something like the lack of its love. Like, I'm missing it. And this song is like the adventure to get his love back. At the same time, not getting this love but for yourself, but for someone else.
That's so
The
beautiful.
same.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's okay. Thank you. I see a lot of people miswriting storage with storage, like with an A, but no, it's literally storage. Like it's the love, it's the parental love, and I try to. The overall mood of the song is like it's very dark and heavy.
Yeah.
Atmosphere feels like none of that have love. None of that is happening at the moment, and that's where I find it fitting to put the ringing bell movie sample. Like I want to be scared of love.
Yeah.
Like wanting to be strong and trying to fight with those wolves that don't instead of comfort you, they make you feel worse. So yeah, that's the overall, the main inspiration of the lyrics that I have.
Very cool. Thank you so much for explaining all that. Next is I'm gonna get this question from Via. Little a different tone than the last questions, but Via just asks, "What's your favorite show?"
Like TV show?
I imagine so. I think so.
I have to watch more, honestly, but the one that I liked the most was Breaking Bad and The Walking Dead. But The Walking Dead was like it lost me in a season 9. I think it got worse after that, so I didn't finish it. Breaking Bad was like back to back, just bangers, just peak.
Hell yeah. I still have not watched it, but I've heard almost exclusively the most amazing things ever.
Yeah. I can imagine.
More from Via, if you're ready to move on. Via asks if you've ever played Geometry Dash. And if so, what's your favorite level?
I don't have one, honestly. But it's because it's been so many years that I've played it. But yeah. If I would pick a favorite, I think it would be Finger Dash. Especially because that I really like the artist behind this music.
Awesome. Awesome mode.
Yeah.
And then you kind of talked about this a little bit, but Via also asks for your record. What drove you to make a post-rock album with an electronic background in music? So, like, what prompted your change from starting electronic and digital and moving to this post-rock sound on the latest record?
I mean, when I listen to something casually, it usually inspires me a lot to create something similar as well. So I was like listening to a lot of indie rock and post-rock stuff around that time. And a lot of indie folk albums as well. And I've told it in a interview before that what got me to actually start producing folk and rock stuff was listening to For Emma Forever Ago by Bon Iver. And I was listening to that in the night and I was like, okay, I think that's the moment that I gotta actually buy some gear to make something great with this style of song.
Hell yeah. Just for your sake.
And I wasn't even planning to make a post-rock album in the first place. I was just messing around with how to record stuff, how to mix it as well. Just trying to have fun. But when I got into focusing on post-rock, that's what all the fun was out, because I have to focus a lot on making it's hard to make a post-rock song interesting, if that's the right word.
Yeah. No, I think it is. That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. How long did it take for you to complete the record? When did you begin working on it, and how long was that process?
I began with it was probably around February or March of 2023. In February, I got my first microphone and the interface, and when I got that, I was working on chip theme for the first time. I was just thinking oh, let's just make a shoegaze song, from shoegaze song, and try to just make some vocal samples. And it was quite hard because I was leaving my comfort zone, especially because I don't fall in love with my voice at the first place. I was very hesitant to put it on a song. And my friends were like, "No, it's great. Keep it. I like when you're singing." And then, okay. And eventually it went from hate to, oh, I think I like this song now. Then I released it.
Hell yeah.
And then I think I was making floppy up after the song. Probably around August or June. Just trying to make I was thinking oh, let's make a folk song now, like a long one. And I released a demo of the song around last year, and people were like, "This is great, keep going." And I went with it, trying to put lyrics and sing as well, and that's how it is right now.
What? Awesome.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh, I forgot. I had to redo this song 2 times as well.
Oh.
Because I lost my all the projects while I was making the album.
Oh.
I was using a very poor notebook when making this album, and you would get broken very easily. So I lost all my files. My audio files.
No. That's horrible.
Yeah. It was quite sad, but what got me keep going was okay, I'll try to make the song way better than before. And the final version of Philadelphia is quite from the demo, more clean, I guess. And have a more texture in the progressions. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Let's see. This is from Zynal from the community. I guess you kind of covered this one, so I might skip this a little bit. it was asking about the stylistic change as well.
Oh yeah,
But
I forgot about it. I've said it before in a tweet from months ago that this isn't the first time that I tried rock. And if you look up my past projects, like my mixtape, you've seen that I got some indie rock influences, and some indie pop as well. But what made me go to electronic is that I didn't really like rock made in MIDI, because all of it was made in MIDI and VSTs and stuff.
yeah.
So I felt like electronic suits better with me.
I mean, using just like VSTs and stuff sounds very difficult. Next question also from Zynal though is, they want to know how you approach making such a conceptual and thematic album, and what was the process for structuring it as a full album experience.
I think I already answered the first part, but the second one is like when I don't know if every artist have this, but when I have an idea of making an album, I usually write like a checklist with all of the ideas that I want to make on each track. And the overall concept as well, so I can't forget about it. And with this concept in mind, I try to make the album like a progression of a story, and not just a story, but trying to portray events as well.
Yeah.
Like each track having a certain feeling to it, and the overall album being like a progression of one feeling going for another. And I don't remember why, but I kind of struggle with it a little bit, like trying to put a certain track transition to another and not feel like disjointed or inconsistent.
Yeah.
I try to make everything consistent as possible, so I think that's why I struggle a little bit.
I mean, it's kind of a weird nebulous thing, so I think you did very well on that. Okay. So this is from Sarah from the community. And the request for this is I have to read the question exactly how it was written, verbatim, word for word. So I will do such. Sarah says, okay, so a mysterious package appears on your doorstep addressed to you. You open it, and inside is a PC made of flesh, blood, and bones, and it has like mouths and eyes on it randomly. You have to feed it a live rat every day, but it's faster than any other computer on Earth and automatically upgrades itself. How would you react?
I would ask my dad where the rats are.
Okay, so you'd keep this. you'd keep the computer and be like, all right, where are the rats?
Yeah, like I have a PTSD of broken computers. I've suffered a lot of that.
Wow.
Yeah, so as someone who was with her during this experience, her PC broke and she had to take a break off of the album after completing, I believe, Sinner and Philautia because the computer would just stop working. I think she was at like early stages of storage and she had to like completely revamp. Sold off a bunch of commissions, and now this computer, the computer she has now, is starting to have issues too. So,
oh god,
that's fun.
So this is like a good thing. You would be like sick. It's my flesh PC, but it works really well.
PC.
When I saw that question, I was like, Sam's.
That's kind of funny. This kind of question though, because for some reason there's a lot of rats in my house.
So this is like a perfect scenario.
I think that wouldn't be a problem.
Okay. This works. What? Okay, I mean I can't answer this. We don't have Sarah here, but I'm like, what happens if you don't feed it a rat one day? Like if you miss a rat one day, does it just completely break or die? Does it die? And then you can't use it anymore? That would be kind of stressful. Like you couldn't miss a day. But yeah. Ferris, if you wanted to chime in, you can for a little bit.
Hello.
Ferris asked.
I only wanted to chime in because Cyber had mentioned the track Storage and how the title was spelled.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to tell us the story of how the title got spelled that way?
I think we covered this a little bit. Earlier.
Like, if you look up storage the way it is on the track, you will see that it is a type of Greek love. It means familiar love. I already forgot.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, you said it was like, so it's like it's not any variation of the spelling. It's just storage, which is like a Greek term for like family love or familiar love.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just a thing that exists. And I try to portray the atmosphere of the song with this type of love, being the inverse of it.
If you allow me to continue down the Greek rabbit hole.
Yeah.
What's probably some of your favorite pieces of Greek artwork? It doesn't have to be limited to like statues or paintings. It can be like plays and such.
It's crazy because I have one that is a painting. I actually forgot, but it's from a character that is supposed to be the goddess of flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it's so, if the concept that I find it beautiful, but I wish I could remember the actual name of the character.
If you like find it later, you don't have to search now if you don't want to, or maybe someone else can find it. I don't know if Crasher knows what you're referring to, but you can always send it later and we can do that too.
We have an answer from Sarah. What happens when you don't feed the PC rats?
Okay. Yeah, what happens?
Sarah just says it dies. The PC dies, I'm assuming.
Oh.
And it stops working.
Oh, no.
Or it kills you. IDK
or it kills you?
IDK pick one. And Sarah says, hi, Sam LRC, and that's it.
What?
So, does that change anything?
No.
Nope.
I mean, I hope it can last a little days of starving.
Yeah, just like I'm very now I'm curious about like all the mechanics of it. It's like alive, right? So does it have like thoughts? Does it think? Does it feel? Or is it just a machine that hungers? Is it just a
Now that got me thinking if it's like trying to access a brain of someone. That would be crazy.
Oh, this is lore. This is lore.
Half-Life lore.
Oh, and Sarah says the computer does think. It's conscious and alive. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of. I mean, can we be like best friends? That would be awesome. Okay, let's see. I'll move on to another question, but there's just an ominous aura surrounding this computer.
Whoops.
Okay. The next question is another awesome one. From Spicy Blueberry. And
Great name.
Spicy Blueberry says, if you had a tiny clone of yourself, like 3 inches tall, what would you do with it?
I would be scared.
Oh, you'd be scared? But like, it would be you though. Like, would you still be like, what I would, maybe you could ask it, like, I feel like it would probably be sympathetic to how you feel, considering it's you.
Like, I was the same thing with me. Like, what should I do with you? Why are you here?
Is it so? Is it like you got cloned like just then, and there was a new version of you, or is there like? Yeah, I guess it's a clone of you. So.
That's small.
Yeah, I think your answer was quite respectful. You're just like asking your tiny self what she would want, and then doing that, I guess. Washing machine, only right answer. That's terrible.
If she would be down with it, I would make her wear a sheep fursuit.
Oh,
That would be cute.
well, I mean, I think you might be able to answer the question for yourself. A natural follow-up is, if you were 3 inches tall, would you wear a little sheep fursuit?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, there we go. So that works. I like that question. Another question from Moth. Just a parallel to the favorite show question. Do you have a favorite movie?
Probably. I have a thing with movies that I don't have with music. Like, with music, I would definitely return to that and remember everything that I experienced. But with movies, I don't have it. It's just I watch it once in a lifetime. But sometimes you got to return to it by how great it is, like Megamind or Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse. I love this movie.
Yeah, that's some good. I love the art of that movie.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah, we're ringing bells all.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
The sheep movie.
Yeah. Did you watch Ringing Bell like post sheep like being like post your in that? I've never seen that movie, but I did hear about it because my Weeking record label is called that. So I was like searching around it and I saw it. I'm like, oh, this is a thing.
I also thought it was a reference to this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it being a reference to the movie. It was mostly just kind of a nice little phrase. Okay. Next question from Sean. Sean says, "Do you fuck
Sean
with
the
Shoo Shoo?" Sean the sheep?
Yes.
Yet to be determined. You fuck with Shoo Shoo. Okay, follow up. What's your favorite album?
Hard to answer. Like, both. I have 2 albums of them that are my top 10s of my favorite albums. It is a Girl with a Basket of Fruit and A Promise.
Yeah, those I as a Shoo Shoo fan, yeah, like those are the 2 ones that I also really resonate with.
A Promise was...
Yeah, and Girl with Basket of Fruit. Girl with Basket of Fruit's my favorite. Like that's one of my like top 3 or 4 albums of all time, I think, probably. But A Promise is by far my second favorite so far. And there's gonna be a new Shoo Shoo record. That's cool. I'm excited for that.
Me too. I loved the new single.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. Interesting direction. I wasn't like you never can anticipate what they're doing because it's just crazy shit every time.
I absolutely love how both of these albums got me into new inspirations in experimental music in general. It is just something so good to experience and discover. I love Shoo Shoo.
Yeah, it's I'm there with you. Shoo Shoo's awesome. Question.
Yeah.
God, yeah, I love Shoo Shoo. Alright, this question. This is a question from Finnaboing. Finnaboing wants to know, what has been your favorite part of making music?
That's a familiar name. Wait, can you repeat?
Yeah. Just what has been your favorite part of making music? So like what's your favorite thing about making music or something that has come from you pursuing music?
Depends really. Like, if every track that I made is something, it's a different experience every time. But the one that I actually loved making was on Untitled with the track beat. Like, although it was quite hard to make this song because of how raw this is, the part that I absolutely have fun making was on the drums of the middle section.
Yeah.
Like, I will talk nerd right now. I absolutely love this part. Like, I made recordings of me punching the desk and recordings of tambourines as well to make the visions. Now, along with it, I edited a drum machine with jazz influences, like jazz rock, and I tried to make a ride playing together with the pedal hi-hat it makes have it have like a very satisfying sound to it. It sounds so smooth playing the two together. And I tried also to make ghost notes on the snare. Like,
yeah.
I discovered that you can make the drum have a kind of a personality with it, having ghost notes and stuff. And it matches so good with the groove and the rhythm of the song. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. I'm kind of amazed at how it sounds. It sounds so good. How much of the record is recorded by you, live stuff being recorded by you versus samples and drum machines, or how did you put it together? I'm baffled by how good it sounds.
You mean this entire EP or my overall
I mean,
music?
in general, I guess the EP and the record. I mean, all your stuff lately in general has been boggling.
So August. So for my EPs, 99% recorded by myself, and the 1% is just this drum machine that I used in the middle section.
Yeah.
And this was also the first time that I recorded an actual violin in the beginning of the track B. I played it myself, and the violin is of the only sinner. It's not actually a violin. It's also a guitar, but with me playing with a violin ball. So it makes kind of have a similar sound, and I try to match it together with a bunch of guitars with balls.
That's so sick. That is very sick.
Thank you.
So do you have a violin? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You can keep going.
No, it's okay. You can talk. No. Yeah, I actually bought recently a violin, and I won't say it's easy to play it. I was just trying to make it sound good than actually playing good. With enough practicing, I think you can get a little skill with it. And with the Alone Sinner production, it is probably 85% recorded by myself. Maybe 15% samples and other 15 VSTs and drum machines.
Yeah, that answers my question so well. That's
Thank you. I try my best.
Yeah, your record's really amazing. Genuinely coming from, we've talked about it a lot, but coming from your last one that I listened to recently, the complete stylistic change, and then having it be executed as well as it is kind of amazing. Really, that's really sick. Really, really, really sick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're good.
I actually think Mia had something to say earlier near the beginning.
Mia did?
Yeah, and everyone asked him, man.
It would have been
I was
a while
just
ago.
gonna ask about the mixing process, what that's like for you.
Oh, it's hard to answer that one because mixing is quite it's quite complicated to explain, but this entire album was just me learning how to mix something recorded by myself, because most when I was working on my past project, I was just used to use VST instruments and already mixed samples, but I didn't know actually how to mix something from the scratch. And
Right.
when I was recording on Isithnica, I was taking some lessons by trying to view the overall waveform of the recordings that I made, and try to be like remove frequencies that I didn't like or made me annoyed listening. Like frequencies too high or too low,
Mm-hmm.
especially with mixing guitars and bass.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
Had
I really like
to-
how the acoustic guitars sound on this record.
Thank you. While I was mixing the guitars, the clean and the distorted ones, I was like, how do I make, like, how do I make this instrument being highlight not take over the bass or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of confused if I make the folk sections have that much bass, or if I completely removed it. So I tried to make my best to make it sound clean as possible.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you too.
I actually just got a good one. I'll probably just ask it right now because I like the question. Finnaboing just asked, how familiar are you with the wider Brazilian music scene? And if you are familiar, do you have any good recommendation?
Yeah, absolutely. I have some that I listened to recently. I have ones that I quite known about, and some that is quite underrated.
If you want, you could maybe find them after the this QnA and link it. I can pass it along.
Yeah, I have music racks. I'll send them over here.
Now, I actually have a question for both Cyber and Sam.
Oh, I get to answer one question? Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What was the favorite part of working together on the collaboration that you guys had on A Lonely Sinner?
You answer or I answer?
You answer first. I don't know how to start with that one, but yeah, you go first. What was your favorite part of working with me?
From what I remember, it was probably like working. I think it was Storage. I don't know the other track that I was working on. We would be like, I would stream my screen to her, and we could basically share each other ideas of how to compose the overall song and what to add on the composition as well. So the overall vibe of working together and listening to the song was very fun to me. It made me quite chill making, because I don't have that much comfort in chill when I make a song alone, so it will be always fun.
Mm-hmm. My favorite part of making a song with you Honestly, the interesting thing is, I think the way I would answer that question is more like the general process, and I guess finding the best part of that. With Beauty, the song that I produced, I basically had a song like already that I had made for a different project, and Sam was like, I don't know what to do with like the chorus, the ending of the album, and I was just like, here, you can have this, and but with for M, I was that was the main song that I was like insulting on. I guess that's the best word to describe what Sam was getting at, where it's like I was there and I was like, ooh, this part would be cool. This part's nice. The whole ending with the hyper ballad, that was me. I saw at the end of her like FL Studio the FL Studio thing. I don't know how to describe it. Like at the very back of it was this whole like 4-minute section of that hyper ballad that I went, "What? So cool! I did it." I thought that was her. I thought she made that. So I was like, "Whoa! Wow! This ending was like here already. You were like so confused how to end this. This is right here. Include the whole thing. Don't add anything extra." And Sam added extra.
Hey, I thought I told you that it was actually a sample.
I forgot, unfortunately.
I love the hyper ballad sample. That made me very happy when I heard it. When I was listening for the first time, I'm like, it's Bjork. Oh my god. But also it's like very beautiful in the context of the record. Like really, really good. Really, really good. Really beautiful.
Thank you.
And the way it's utilized is awesome. Yeah.
I was quite scared of doing that because I was thinking like my friends would be like, oh no, she took an entire song of Bjork and put in her song. No way. That's not good. I don't like it.
Ah.
She copied Bjork. No.
Up for a lot of those.
No, I mean, I don't think anyone has thought that, but that would be like it is like transformative in a really impactful way. I think it's like a very gorgeous moment on the record. I'm very glad that it's there.
Absolutely, 100%.
Dang.
Were you wanting to speak again, Ferris?
Actually, yes. We had a question that was perfectly timed for the Bjork.
Okay.
Pardon me. Do you have a favorite Bjork project and or song?
That's a hard question.
It's like an impossible question. I can't blame you for this is a trick. They're all so good.
She's just big.
Mm-hmm.
She's just a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
But for a long time, I think my favorite track would be Unravel. It's just something magical about this track that I really love. And the horns, so good. The atmosphere.
That is one of the most beautiful tracks ever. Like ever. On one of the greatest albums ever.
It's also an album that got me into experimental music as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And as a final follow-up, if you had a 3-inch tall Bjork, what would you do with her?
I would respectfully hug her if she wants.
Yeah, I've said this a bunch, not to talk about myself, but I've on record said that the only reason I started doing music is that I hope in one day I will be best friends with Bjork, and that's my only goal. This is all I want in life, is to be best friends with Bjork. This is the one thing. I could see Bjork having a fursuit. Like, that just sounds plausible to me.
She even made a music video dancing with a cat.
Yeah,
Like having a cat husband.
I just saw that. I was not a big fan of that video, and to be honest, but it's fucking batshit insane. Like, the shit that Bjork comes up with for the videos is insane. That's from the Medulla, right? That I forget which
I think
track
so.
it is. Yeah, there it is.
It's so cute, but so sus.
Like,
So weird.
that track is so... Medulla is one of my favorite records of Bjork's. This is from Donnie, resident Charlie XCX fan. Donnie asks, what instruments can you play, and what did you use to make A Lonely Sinner? You kind of talked about this a little bit, but...
Yeah, I think I can answer Mark clearly, I guess.
Mhm.
Thank you. Well, I basically answered that on my bandcamp description of the album, but I will say that again. Like, well, let's see. I have a guitar right now, like a electric guitar, but I didn't use it on A Lonely Sinner.
Mhm.
I did like all of the guitars are acoustic guitars, and the distorted ones are like acoustic guitars with distortion and reverb.
Mhm.
And I have a tambourine. This is used for percussion and high ends.
Yeah.
I have little boxes, many tiny boxes.
Oh, I've
Oh.
been mentioned. I'm famous.
We got the connection.
Yeah,
So really,
she was here all along.
it was pivotal that I was here for this record. I take 100% credit for your amazing record at this point. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. Many tiny boxes, also for percussion.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
That's so
I also
sick.
have soda cans.
Oh, I love.
I didn't use that for percussion, but I used for textures like on club. Yeah, you can hear it sometimes.
That is so sick. This is so sick.
And I also have the violin. I don't consider myself a. I mean, I consider myself as a beginner of violin. I'm trying.
Mm-hmm.
But only sinner. I just used the violin bow on the
Mhm.
guitar.
Violin is a very... I mean, I'm just speaking for myself. Some people probably don't have a hard time with it, but as someone who played the violin for like most of their life, that instrument is fucking difficult to pick up initially.
Absolutely.
It will make the most heinous, disgusting noises at you as you try to struggle your way to being okay at it.
I also have a harmonica.
Ah,
I just used it in a demo, not an actual song from the album. So it's okay. I think that's all. Yes. I tried to play some piano as well, but it's just keyboards, not an actual piano.
yeah, makes sense. This one says maybe ask this later. I'm gonna go ahead and ask it now because that was an hour ago. But Mari says, and maybe we've talked about this a little bit, but are there any other like projects by like whatever post-rock, trans experimental rock, like any smaller albums or new things out there that don't get a lot of attention that you would like to shout out? No worries if there's not anything, but there is.
You mean the ones that I know?
Anything that you fuck with that like smaller musicians in a similar sphere to you have made.
The one that I remember right now, I want to give a shout out to Deprivation, Dreams of Death. It's an album from a friend that is it is the founder of the label that I'm in right now. So
yes, Arcade.
yes.
Awesome. This question is from Tony, and he says, "What are your thoughts on the overall reception of your new record?" Because, and you probably already knew this, it's the top 10 released on Album of the Year so far. And how do you see it in comparison to your other records?
It's definitely a project that changed my life, but I still don't know if it's if it's for the better or for the worse. Like the first 2 months that I seen the reception of it, I was not dealing with a way that I could consider healthy in the first place. And it's one of the reasons that Untitled exists. So yeah.
Okay.
Extremely grateful though. Sometimes I'm happy that it happened.
I mean, like, you have like multitudes more attention on you than I have with my releases, and I have gotten like terrifyingly overwhelmed with people receiving stuff that I've done, so I can't really even imagine it on the scale of which you've had to manage things.
All eyes on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, not it's not just that Untitled came from. It came from the situation that I deal with parents in home as well. So yeah.
Untitled is really amazing too. I can, like, based off of what you've said just here, like, it makes a lot of sense. It comes through in the sound of the project. Next question is asking about the poetry that accompanied the album. Just asking about how you wrote those and if there are any inspirations for it and how that came to be.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Maybe kind of touched on this a little bit before, but just asking about the writings attached with the album, the poetry that you had with the project, and how you ended up writing those, and if you had any inspirations or like what that process was like.
We also answered that before, but the process.
So if you're referring to the cover art poetry, I wrote that.
Yeah.
That was me. There was like a first version of it, because basically both of them I didn't like tweak at all. I was just like wrote it in like one burst and then just sent it to Sam, and then Sam went, "Oh, that looks cool," and then I redid it. I had the first one. I wrote it on like the 28th of February, and like I had it, and then Discord started bugging out, and it just got rid of it.
Yeah. I also really like how like it fits so well with the concept of the album that I decided to put in it. And also, Cyber helped me out on writing some lyrics of the album as well. I've given some verses I could fit, and then I would probably add it or change it, something that I would feel more comfortable with. And with that in mind, Storage would probably have some sync lyrics because of that, but I think it works well being an instrumental piece, because especially because my voice, I didn't know how to make my voice less highlighted in a song. Felt like very out of place, so I just removed it.
If that question was gonna get like close to like some sort of like, hey, how did, like, you know, the inspiration of it, I guess, or like, you know, the inspiring of it. With something like that, I think the inspiration is like different types of poetry. Like, I don't read too much poetry, but I know different types of it. Where like, in this sense, the rhymes aren't really at the end of each line, it's inside of the line. Like, my breath gets thinner as the killer approaches. I heard their call in the wild ever since I was a child. I know I'm their prey when I scream, and I see roaches. A king cobra bites while I'm being forced to smile. A lonely sinner trapped in an isolated cage, feeling another demon that feeds a bitter rage. I kind of went crazy on the the animal metaphors.
Yeah.
Bars.
No, it is good.
Honestly, I think it gets closer to like the real home life that's metaphorized, and if that's a word, in the album.
Yeah.
With the roaches and the, you know, screaming. With the king cobra bites while I'm being forced to smile. It's like a connection between like dysphoria and like actual pain in a familial relationship. Since I know firsthand that experience, I tied it to like my feelings of like being forced to pretend like everything's good because everybody else, everything's good for everybody else. Everything's fine. Like, you're the weird one right now. A lonely sinner trapped in an isolated cage. With that feeling of like, on Untitled, like the first thing that Sam says is like, you know, I'm crying, or like I'm sleeping in my older sister's room. Like, even so, she feels like like every time I talk to her, she like sounds like only child, like insular thought. And I've had that feeling too, where it's like, you know, it's sort of like insular, like your mind is like stuck in yourself because you're basically in self-preservation mode. When it comes to your home situation, where you're literally only thinking of like danger points, like this person won't hurt me, these people will, I have to focus on them so that they don't hurt me. And then that feeling of like fueling another demon that feeds a bitter rage. I think the first version of this was like a little bit more optimistic. This one's a little bit more like connecting to it. It like connects to Storage, and then it connects to stuff that like I think Sam's gonna get into later projects, where it's like this, like these feelings, these like painful moments in your life, they're not gonna go away in like a more positive environment. They're gonna stick with you. They can hurt other people because you can't, like, you're still in that mode of like, I need to be ready in case there's danger. But then when there's no danger, when the cage is gone, when you're free, your brain hasn't like restarted. It's not like, now everything's good. It's like, oh shoot, you're not trying to hurt me. You're good. You're nice to me, but I still have that feeling in my head of like, you're gonna hurt me. Oh no, it definitely is. I wanted to connect it to the album because like there is an optimism sort of in like that ending, but like also a sort of like letdown of like, that was beautiful, but temporary. Like that final part of it, maybe.
You mean the close?
Yeah, the last 3 tracks. There's like a sort of like, things are getting better. That's like temporarily. Maybe you'll get to it in another question, and I could like add to it. But like, and I feel like I've talked enough. But
like
with
like I realized that I put a lot of cutoffs on my songs, and the first time that I tried it, especially with the closer track, it's supposed to be like the feeling is gone, and it's like Cyber said, it's just being cut off, getting back, and you try to regain it again.
Less serious topic, but just people asking. Markiplier, the famous Markiplier, asks about your profile picture. Who made it?
Markiplier is Zynal, by the way.
Is Zynal? Okay. I choose to believe that's Markiplier.
What is a Zynal?
Oh, that's just the person's name. Don't worry. Don't worry about it.
Oh. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier. You mean?
I think your Discord profile picture.
Funny enough, was me that friend that I talked about that told me to have a persona.
Hell yeah! Awesome. Awesome mode. It looks so good. Awesome mode.
But yeah, did you remember any questions that you have?
Some of my questions, I wanted to know, in general, like, what your process of, like, considering your stylistic shift, like, how did you, like, approach learning how to produce in this way, and is there any like information on like the mixing and the production side of things that is at all interesting you'd want to talk about? That was kind of what was in my head, but
wait, can you repeat the question again? Like the first part?
Yeah, sorry, I was kind of just vague with it at least, but the first part of the question was like how you like breaking this up, like did you have to like learn a lot of new stuff to be able to like create a like such stylistically different project from what you were doing before? Like was there any like learning hurdle for that, and specifically around like mixing and production and all that?
I think so. Like way before I started making ship theme, like in 2022 I was making. I made the same as offline, and after I finished and released that record, I was like, I tried to go for that style, but not wearing the gear that I have right now. I was like recording all my stuff in a cell phone.
Yeah.
And I would be like trying to share all the files into the cell phone to my PC. It was quite slow process that I didn't really like making. But that period was fun enough for me to experiment with this style for the first time. And this got me learning some stuff that I didn't really know that I would thought it was useful, like playing the instruments in the right tempo, the right rhythm, and mixing the the recordings that I made myself, because I wasn't used to mix everything on my own. I would mostly use Wispy instruments that was already mixed, very clean stuff, so I wouldn't need to mix it all that, just master it, master the volume of the song. But when I got to actually record all the instruments, the overall samples by myself, I had to learn how to remove some frequencies or add some frequencies that I liked, or I would find it annoying to listen to, especially trying to view the entire waveform of the sample and of the recordings. So that helped me a lot to feel what's good or bad in the mixing.
Okay. Another one from Zynal, aka Markiplier. Zynal asked, were there any points you considered scrapping or abandoning the project, your album, or worried that you were not going to be able to complete it to its full potential? And if so, how did you move past these moments?
One of the most of the sections that I removed from the album, the sections that I didn't really like, or was present in the demo versions, I was like, I really didn't like it that much, so it was easy to scrap it off. So I didn't care much about it. But storage, like you know that I had a bunch of files and projects around that song, like to make an entire song.
Yeah.
So I definitely had to scrap some stuff that I thought it was nice or it was a good idea, but because of my friends telling me that it didn't fit that well, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, I gotta do something different, something new. So I deleted it and just have a backup of what was done. It was the few times that I was regretting removing the stuff from the song, but in the end, it turned out well. It's a song that I like right now. Like listening to.
The second part to this question also was just, how do you deal with creativity block in general? I don't know if you want to touch on that.
Oh.
I left that part out the second time I read it, so don't.
No, you're fine. I have a Goober mind. I was quite but damn. I don't know how to answer this question because I still deal with it. Still deal with creativity block. And it's every time that I pass through it, it's not like I discovered something. It's not like I discovered a miracle of how to go pass through it. It just feel like an achievement, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't really know how to deal with it in a healthy way. So I just keep going and try not to get angry or sad about it.
I think that's a great answer. I mean, I don't think there's any real solution, so I think, like what you said, just approaching it and trying not to let it get you down too much and trying to get through it best you can is sometimes all you can do.
I am a diehard shoegaze fan. It's been an H on me the whole night. What is your favorite shoegaze album, Sam?
I think it's Velocity Design Comfort by Sweet Trip.
We have a winner.
I don't know if shoegaze is the main genre of this album. it definitely have shoegaze, but I like glitch and EDM is the main focus, I guess.
I mean, I guess it is kind of shoegazy, isn't it? I guess, like...
It is. A lot of... It's basically shoegaze if you gave it to somebody who doesn't make shoegaze and instead makes glitchcore.
I mean, that album is amazing.
It's so good. It's not as good as Sam's album, though. Check out A Lonely Sinner on Spotify.
Yo, plug!
Now so
that's
smooth.
marketing.
Ooh!
Check out Sam is Offline on all streaming platforms. That album's also pretty good.
We're smooth with the transitions, so I'm gonna toss it
You
back
heard
to
it
you,
here
Aspen.
first. Sam's album is better than Velocity Design Comfort.
Now that's crazy. I don't agree with that.
I think I do agree with that crazily enough, but I do like that record a lot. It's very, very different from your record. It's not really comparable. This is a question from Mari, and Mari says, I felt like one of the most unique and outstanding parts of the album's visual identity was having the looped videos on Spotify, on the Spotify lyrics, sorry. Because I feel like there's a lot of potential of all kinds of artists having their own stylized lyrics. Is this something that you came up with yourself or something you saw somewhere?
I mean, funny enough, I think I just thought of it, especially because I didn't have much new material visual-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because I'm struggling a lot with visual art and drawing this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I forgot how to make the basics of it, so I don't have much of it, just a little bit of the ideas and more music itself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think that it turned out really nice. Another awesome question. What color?
Awesome mode.
Awesome mode!
She
Okay.
said the thing.
What color would you like if you had to eat a crayon straight from the box?
Eat a what?
A crayon. Crayon. I don't know.
I don't know what it is.
Let's see.
How do you spell it?
Here. CRAYOLA. I mean, that's just the brand, but it's CRAYO. Like these things. I sent you a picture.
Oh. I don't think that's used to eat.
That's an interesting observation. I've never considered it that way before.
They're non-toxic.
They're non-toxic.
I've seen people sniffing it, but not eating.
Makes sense.
But I don't know.
Abby says non-toxic means edible. I mean, it's only natural.
If something is not toxic, you have to eat it. It's the only way. If it doesn't kill you, put it in your mouth and chew.
Fair. I think that the tastiest would be the pink one.
The pink one?
Yeah, or probably the blue.
Are they like flavored, like the colors? Like is the blue one like blueberry flavored?
Yeah, because it reminds me of blueberries and mint.
Yeah. Okay. Now we have one from Phoebe. Phoebe says, as someone who's made fan art about your record, how have you received fan creations for A Lonely Sinner and the same character in general? And the Sam character in general?
I feel really happy. Like, I've always wanted this type of fan arts involved with my music and the overall world that I make about it. So it's kind of nice to see other person's view of it and their ideas as well. I find it fascinating. And I always love to see it. People actually show me they make it. I think it's awesome.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. I think that like the distinct visuals of your record really like inspired a lot of people to make some cool art about it. Next question from Finnaboing. Finnaboing is just asking, where do you go from here? Since A Lonely Sinner and the EP as well was such a big shift stylistically, are you thinking of sticking with your post-rock stuff, or are you leaning towards any other directions? And are you working on any other future projects?
I will make a country album.
You're gonna make a country album?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Just kidding, I have no idea. I don't...
Like...
You had
I believed you.
second.
Yeah, I was like...
I really believed you.
Like, I genuinely think you could pull one off.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I think, like... What version
That'd
of
be
country
interesting.
music are you going for? I think is the...
I could make something from what I've listened to that I like. Would be a interesting experience, but I have no idea of where do I go from here. Especially because most of my previous albums, the instant that I finished it, I was already thinking of another idea that I could make in the future, but following Sinner, it's just blank. I don't know what else I could make. So it just falls into that option of path, but something different.
Awesome. Awesome-mo.
I knew you were gonna say that. And
Awesome-mo. There's only one thing I can say to this one.
Awesome.
Awesome-mode. Yeah.
yeah. And I do think that sometimes it is alright to take a step away and to let yourself breathe after you release
Oh yeah,
a record.
absolutely.
Unlike
Yeah.
Aspen over here who puts out like 3 a month.
I mean, it's probably gonna slow down a little bit, but I was motivated for a while.
Yeah.
Still motivated.
That's why it's nice, honestly.
Yeah.
Most of my genre and style switches comes from a moment that I had with a friend that got me quite upset at myself, because she was also a producer and a composer, and she would constantly give me the suggestion of like, try something different, because you're making the same sound over and over again. Just try something different. And I was like, nah, this is good enough. I fuck with it. But it got so much into her that she was like, okay, I don't want to listen to it anymore. You are basically ignoring me. And I was like, no, I think I think I was a friend. No, and then I started hating myself because of it. And I try my best to not just make something different, but listen to something that was outside of my comfort zone. Like every time I listen to some indie rock or pop songs, and I started by listening to records that was recommended by my friends on the overall OTY page, and then I started by drilling bass, like the appreciate the James album by FX Twin, and then I got into A Promise by Shushu, and then Homogenic by Bjork, and that's how I got into be more open-minded about music and try to do different styles with it.
That's that is such a great gateway. Were you into A Promise before Homogenic?
I think so.
That's pretty crazy. I was just gonna say I haven't seen I haven't heard of too many people getting introduced to all this new music through A Promise usually. Although maybe I'm just not looking enough.
If you gotta agree with me, I think everyone that listened to A Promise was because of the cover.
Yeah, that's true. It's yeah. No, you're right. You're actually spitting. That's actually very true. It is a cover of all time, perhaps.
Yeah. I've seen the cover and then I've seen the music genres, and I was like, what the heck?
Yeah,
they might be cooking.
Yeah, it catches you and you're just like, what the fuck is this? And then you listen and you don't really know. But it's really good. It's really amazing.
Yeah. If I didn't look up the overall theme of the album, I think I wouldn't get it in the first place.
I love Shushu's lyricism kind of for that reason. You can extract these themes and stuff from it, but it's just so distinctive and visceral and impactful. It's really, really sick shit. Alright. The next question is another community joke. But they're wanting to know if you can shout out Duty, who is a member of our community named Duty.
Call of Duty?
Dudey.
Oh.
Dude E with a Y at the end.
Shout out Duty.
Yeah!
Woo!
Let's
get it!
Woo!
Shout out
This
to
changes
Awesome
everything.
mode.
Awesome mode!
Mode.
You can't say that near me. It triggers my I can't help it. Okay. Then this question from XXX_woman_lover_XXX asks, what's your favorite YouTube video or thing on the internet in general? If you have one.
Can you repeat?
What's your favorite YouTube video or thing on the internet in general? If you have one.
I don't have one, I guess.
That's fair. No problem.
It's such a... It's because the internet have everything.
Yeah, you could there's you're 100% right. It could be anything in the whole world, basically.
Mm-hmm. And I often forgot a lot of stuff, so that doesn't help.
I'm not sure how many people are just if someone were to walk up to them and be like, what is your favorite YouTube video? They'd have a quick, fast answer to that. Oh my god. Next question is by Blushy.
Hi, Blushy.
Blushy's the best in the world.
I blush you.
Blushy says, is there any album/song you've been particularly hit emotionally by recently?
I think I have, actually. I'll look it up right now. I have two of them. One of them is from an album that I've been revisiting quite a lot for several years. And one of them is from a recent album.
Yo! 21 Pilots.
They're from
I
Ohio.
really like this, the lyrics of this one.
This is so sick. This is like the best 21 Pilots song of all time.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the closer of the song.
So Neon Gravestones, 21 Pilots, and the closer of Impossible Light from Uboa.
Yeah.
Which
Like,
that's called. I think that is called. Is that the title track? Impossible Light. Oh, it's Impossible
it
Light
is
/
Impossible Light.
Golden Flower. Okay. Awesome.
the instrumental of this song is quite heavy emotionally. That hits me really hard. And the lyrics and the overall mood of the Neon Gravestones like speak to me very much with this inner force that he talks about, and how it reflects how it kinda how these thoughts get stronger with a lot of artists that we've lost on the way. So I think it's pretty important.
Pretty beautiful. Those are both amazing answers. I'm glad the Uboa one is in there. It's a great record. A great new record. Alright. Next question from Mellowmani. I don't know how to pronounce that name. But they say, what is a part of making music that exhausts you after you finish with it?
Making music.
Just in general?
Yeah, especially when I have an idea in mind, I feel quite tired to put everything together. Or just like trying to come up with a new sound design when I'm trying to use a synthesizer or just a different effect on my instrument.
No, totally.
Especially because I do a lot with self-doubt, and I feel like I'm not being original or creative enough. I try at my best to fight these thoughts.
My Discord's being a little bit bad, so hold on. I'm trying to pull up the next question, but for some reason everything's breaking.
Want me to ask it?
It's okay.
Yeah, for just a second while I'm figuring out my thing.
Danny Ecstasy asks, what purpose does the lamb and the wolf serve in the symbolism of a lonely sinner, and how does the title play into it? And I'm assuming the title of the album play into the the lamb and wolf symbolism.
I had an answer for that, but I forgot. Like the concept of the lamb being quite vague at times. It's just me, I guess. Literally me. And the title of the album comes from this thing that is trying to get the acceptation of the others, especially the ones that raised you. That's why I talk about it in Sinner, like you're my creator stuff. That's where I choose the word.
Would it have anything to do like with the what's it called? The phrase like wolf in sheep's clothing sort of thing? I don't know if that was like, because that's usually where you would hear like a wolf and a sheep or lamb in like the same sort of phrase. At least I'm just curious if that was.
I don't think I necessarily agree with that. I think that like a sheep and a wolf are like pretty distinctive, like almost pairing. You know, like it's
more like sheep raised by wolves. But I think Starch could fit fit with that concept of sheep in wolf's clothing, because that's what she wanna turn into.
Kind of the opposite of that phrase, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This is from period, just a dot. And they ask, do you fuck with Chief Keef?
I haven't listened to him that much, but from what I've heard, it's very good. I fuck with it.
Sam fucks with Chief Keef. This is like the most important question, this next one. I think probably the most important question of them all. And it's just, Aubrey asks, what do you think of talented cats?
They are talented.
That's kind of profound that you said that, because I was kind of thinking the same thing about the talented cats, that they're kind of talented in that way.
One of my friends are a talented cat, though.
Oh,
He makes great music.
your
She
friends
goes
with
by
a talented
Lilith.
cat. Oh,
Luffy.
oh my goodness, insider information on talented cats. Okay, this is the last question. And this is from Abby. We love Abby. I feel like we kind of talked about this already, but I'll ask the question anywho. But Abby says, can you describe your process for conceptualizing the theme/story of the album? Did you have an idea that you wanted to convey before you started working on it, or did things kind of fall into place as you worked?
So I already answered the first part, that is making everything tie together, but there was actually another concept that I had in mind before I made the concretize the original concept of Only Sinner. Like, instead of being a sheep, it would be another character called Lucy, and I have drawn her once. I think I can show you.
Awesome.
It was supposed to be the same aesthetic with sunflowers and onions and stuff. But she will live in a different timeline. She will live in a 40s, trying to go past a relationship that she was facing at the time. And I was trying my best to make it complicated and difficult, but it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
So and at the same time I was realizing that I would prefer much more express experiences that I go through than other people's experiences. But I had this idea of the Lucy story because I was feeling like I already did this twice. I want to make something different in the perspective of someone else. I take my time with it and try to think of something different to express myself about it. And that's how I got the overall concept of Only Sinner. The philosophy stuff that I was studying about, and how I try to tie it together with my experiences. Wait a minute, I'll show y'all the art that I made.
Oh,
It was
this is awesome.
2022.
Yeah, I see the similar aesthetic. That's so good. Well, that was the last question. So
I have two questions. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That was what I about to ask. Does anybody from the call still have questions?
What artists are you inspired by, drawing, painting wise? Like artists that you're inspired by, drawing wise.
Yeah, you actually reminded me of something that I forgot to tell about. So from paintings, I took inspiration from Van Gogh, and not just paintings, but the title of the beauty of the present moment. It was taken from his painting of a sunflower that he painted while he was in a hospital, just suffering a crisis. I was like, didn't that speak to me in a certain way? Like, this got me inspired to make the title of Disclosure. But with illustrations and the overall art I made, it just comes from my friends. Like, my friends inspire me to draw something different or try new styles, or maybe try some different palette of colors, being like more strong color scheme, more depressing or more vibrant. All of my friends inspire me to do that, so I'm thankful for them.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
What is the second question?
Very cute. My second question is, how did you make the animated short movie for Sam is Offline? How did the process change for A Lonely Sinner? Because I don't think anybody's brought up Sam is Offline at this call. Like that album was also insane. A few times, yeah. But like the animated movie, it's a whole movie.
I don't know if anyone that knows Only Sinner knows that, but I made a literally full movie of an album, of my previous album. Like, each track have a little animation to it, like have a progression and a story tying into it, not just a visualizer. And this got me like half a year to make the entire album and half a year to make the entire movie.
Holy shit.
So,
it's crazy.
it was basically 1 year of making the entire project.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
I know.
And I think that's definitely the project that got me to the atmospheric drum bass scene that was high at the time, and this got me getting Lucy's drum. Shout out Lucy.
Woo!
And shout out to Chris Steph as well. I met him around that time as well.
Chris Steph.
Yeah. And one of my main inspiration for that movie was was the Guillotine music video from that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, imagine if entire world would be like an static sky.
Like the like black and whitey stuff, like the
like everything glitched out and messed up. So that's quite the inspiration for it. The inspiration.
That is so cool and insane. Like, that's so much work. That's kind of awesome. That's very amazing.
Yeah, not just because of that, but because I was working on my broken PC as well. So I just had to make a lot of animations of the tracks, but I have to remade it, like re-editing everything if I would lose it on my files, because editing software is quite heavy for both PCs. So yeah.
Yay! That's awesome.
That's
Any
all the
more
questions I wanted to ask. Anybody else here want to ask a question?
Going once, going twice. I'm gonna cut the recording.
Bye bye recording. Bye bye recording. Bye bye recording.
recording.
Bye bye.
Awesome.
Awesome.